In 2017, Steve and I took 3 whole months off from business. We hustled hard for the 5 weeks beforehand, and that paid for us to take an uninterrupted tour of Europe. And then we came back to a pipeline full of clients for the fall. Today, I want to share exactly how we did it, because guess what? You can absolutely do this too. Hi, I'm Pia Silva. I am the founder of No BS Agency Mastery, where we help 1 to 2 person branding agencies scale to $30,000 to $50,000 months without hiring employees, while cutting your working time down by up to 80%. And today I want to talk about one of the crucial pieces of this whole model, which I call the chunk and stack method. See, the problem with the way most people run their small agencies right now is that you have lots of clients at once and they're always overlapping. So when are you able to actually check out and take some vacation time? I'm sure that even if you are able to get away here and there, you're still checking your email, checking your phone, and generally feel the stress and the pressure of needing to get back to clients or even prospects who might reach out to you on your time away. And you may think that the solution to that is hiring employees. That's what I thought. The only way I'm ever going to be able to take a vacation is if I have somebody else manning the ship, doing the work. But when I hired those employees, not only did I add a ton of money to my overhead, but I still had to check in because I had to manage those employees. It didn't solve the problem at all. Now, you probably think that's just par for the course. You have to work with as many clients as you can at once because you always want a steady cash flow. I'd like to give you a completely different perspective on this. If you're like most people I work with, building a multi-million-dollar agency is not your primary goal. Your goal is to make a really good living doing what you love and having that flexibility to do what you want. By this point, you're probably just wondering, how can I even just switch off for a week at a time to get some downtime and rest and relaxation so I don't feel burnt out? Well, that's why we invented the chunk and stack method. This is core to the No BS Agency Mastery method. Instead of working on 5 projects at a time over the course of 5 months, so that you're constantly going back and forth client to client, and every project is at a different place in the timeline, and you're constantly having to switch back and forth in your mind and remember where you left off. Instead of that, we would just do 1 project a month for 5 months. In the end, you work with the same number of clients over the same period of time, but you're only working with 1 project at a time. Why do we do this? Because when you only work on 1 project at a time, that client gets all of your attention. You're able to immerse yourself in only 1 project at a time. And that leads to eliminating context switching. Context switching is when you jump between tasks and it kills productivity. They say that every time you have to switch from one task to another, you lose up to 20 minutes of productivity in trying to remember what you're supposed to do and get immersed back into it. Imagine how many times you are switching from this email to this project, to that logo, to that website. How much productivity are you losing in that scenario? On top of that, you lose your client's concentration. You want to know why clients disappear or don't get back to you when you're 3 months into a project? Because they've lost momentum. They've lost enthusiasm. We want to get their feedback and their content and all the things that we need from them as soon as possible. Because when are clients most likely to get back to you and respond to your messages and have feedback for you? In the beginning of the project. That's when they're most excited, they're most enthusiastic, and so are you. And we want to ride that wave of momentum. So instead, we chunk and stack our projects. Now, because we do intensives where we only build entire brands and projects in just a few days, what we would do is actually do 2 projects a month. We'd do 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off. And that meant that every other week, we had a full week aside to work on our own business and our own projects. It also meant that we had those weeks to take off whenever we wanted. Now, the thing that this does for you is it gives you incredible flexibility. So for that European trip I mentioned before, it was pretty intense, but we did 5 projects in a row every week of May into June. We made over $100,000 in just a 5-week span doing all of these projects. And then we got to check out. And guess what? We literally didn't have to tell anybody we were going away because we weren't beholden to any clients. None of our projects are ongoing, which means that we could go to Europe and not tell anybody. And nobody was hounding us for work. Nobody was emailing us, asking us for files or anything. This is in stark contrast to 6 years before in 2011, when Steve and I got married in Mexico. And I was literally sitting on a beach next to an internet tower on my laptop the day of our wedding, trying to send somebody files. I couldn't even check out on my own wedding day. You may be wondering, how do you schedule clients to go back to back instead of all at once? Don't clients want to always start at the same time? And you can't possibly juggle clients so that they are starting exactly when you want them to. That's just a complete farce. And that's just a mindset issue. I have been doing this for a long time. And what I'll tell you is that clients are more than happy to start on whatever start date you want to start if you can give them a guaranteed end date. So because we do intensives and we guarantee that their entire project will be done on day 2, when we give them those dates, even if it's 3 months away, I tell them, you will still get this sooner than if you engage another company and start down this road right now, because most branding, website design agencies are not going to be able to finish this project in less than 3 months. So you can either spend the next 3 months and probably longer working with somebody else back and forth, all that time, all that energy, those meetings, or you can sign on the dotted line and we can talk again in 3 months when we are going to intensely do your brand, finish it, wrap it up, and launch it. And what I've found is that clients actually love that, because the best clients, they value their time too. And they don't want to work on this back and forth with you for 6 months. That's a story that we have perpetuated by making these long drawn out timelines. And clients go along with it because they think that we need all of that time. But here we are. Most of the people I talk to say, I could get this done in just a few days or just a few weeks, as long as the client was following my lead or the client would get back to me. Guess what? You absolutely can with the chunk and stack method. So what I've done here is I've actually outlined a couple of different scenarios of what it would look like when we were selling 1-day brand ups at $3,000 in 2014 and how we would stack them. And then as our prices increased in 2015, we were doing $10,000 brand ups. So we had to do fewer of them. So this is when we were doing 2 a month. And then as they increased, we would change the way that we did it. And these are just showing different scenarios. As they increased, once we were doing 25-day, 2-day brand ups, we only wanted to do 1 a month. So this is what it would look like. This is what it looked like when we would do $40,000 3-day brand ups. So I'm showing you these different scenarios because when I share this information with most people, they always wonder, yeah, but what does that actually look like on a schedule, especially because you do lead products and then you do intensives. So this will give you a really good idea of the different ways that you could manage your schedule. And once you decide that this is how your schedule is going to go, then as you close clients, you can put them into an already existing schedule. And this is going to allow you to check out in between. And that will not just allow you to stop burning out, but it'll give you that time away so you can get the rest and relaxation you need. Let's see if now is the time to implement this no BS agency model in your business.